Well, I can speak very candidly about what I talked to the players about in the locker room, and the thing that I know for beyond a shadow of a doubt is that there isn't one person in that locker room, players, coaches, support staff, administration, that didn't leave every single bit of themselves out on that field tonight. That was a gutty win. I'm so proud of our seniors. This senior class, they've been through a lot. They've had a lot of success. They've won conference championships. They've won bowl games. But they've also had to deal with a lot of transition. Transition's a difficult thing. It really is. And it's difficult when you plan for 4 or 5 different head coaches over the course of a 5-year career with interim coaches, and the thing that I told those players last night and told them again after the game in the locker room is that I really do appreciate them welcoming our staff and myself in to this family, and this family's been growing. It's been growing through adversity. It's been growing through tough times. It's been growing through stuff that's almost unimaginable off the field. Health issues, and one thing that I do know is that this group is growing together, and tonight was on full display. Some unbelievable individual performances. Mike White starting the game off 14 for 14, set the all-time, I believe it was a consecutive completion record in WKU history. Nakarius Fant having a career night here in his hometown on senior night was unbelievable. And then 3 receivers over 100 yards, 72% completion percentage, and most importantly, a guy that has had a tough year, that had to win a starting job, came down to the very end of training camp, really leading up to the first game, and Ryan Nuss, he validated the very reasons that he was selected to be our starting kicker by what he did tonight, and those were adverse conditions for a kicker. Wind was howling, and he put that ball right through the pipes, and that ended up being the difference. Our kicker made it, their kicker didn't, and Ryan Nuss, to me, is the hero and got the game ball. We were able to get that ball and give it to him in the locker room, and that's a big moment for Ryan. Yes, yeah, very emotional, and I think it's even more emotional just because of all that's transpired with our team, with the injuries. To have 7+ season-ending injuries, to have our offensive line coach not be with us, but one game over the course of the last half of the season, due to major health concerns, and also just the adversity, a 3-game losing streak. It had been a while. It had been basically 4 weeks since we won a football game, and to get that feeling in the locker room again was awesome.
What does a win like this do for your team in the next coming week, in that final game, and then possibly for a bowl game?
Well, we talked about that we're in a playoff scenario. It was, we had to win this one. We had to be 1-0 and to advance. You basically survive and advance, and we go to FIU, a team that's playing, at a really high level. As we all know, the Conference USA is a little bit upside down, and that's what this league is going to be year to year. There's going to be a lot of turnover in this league because rosters turnover quite a bit, and coaching staffs turnover, and FIU is going to be a great challenge, but we do know to guarantee a bowl berth, we got to win next week. We got to win on Friday, and anything short of that, obviously, we leave it into somebody else's hands. But really, ultimately, with the way that tomorrow plays out in our conference, it's not out of the question to think that we could be playing for second place in the East Division, if I'm not mistaken on that. And it takes some different scenarios and losses, but we're 4-3, and if we finish out 5-3, we've got a chance to be second place, and that would certainly guarantee us a very good bowl victory, or bowl game, excuse me.
Mike White's hot start tonight.
We watching their film, they are I've never coached against a team that blitzes as much as they do. We needed to get the ball out of his hands. We needed highly efficient, high completion percentage type throws early in the game, get him in rhythm, not put him in a position where we have to throw it a million times and drop back and hold on to it as much as we probably have in the past. And we wanted to play to our strengths. You learn a lot about your team as you go on, and certainly certainly one of our strengths is Mike's arm, and our receiving core has gone from a group with, quite honestly, quite a few unknowns to being a strength of our team as well. And Mike makes everybody around him better. And I thought that Mike did a great job tonight, in particular, of just fighting. And he wasn't going to be denied on his senior night.
Defense gave up just 3 points through 3 quarters. What are some things you all were doing really well to prevent Stoddsville from putting up these points?
You know, it was we were just. I mean, they were getting their yards, not massive amounts of yards, but we buckled down and especially in the red zone a couple times, and we're able to get some stops on some short fields, and that was big for us in the first half. And then I'll tell you what, Brent Stockstill is a special player. I'm a son of a coach myself. I wish I would have been the player that he is as the son of a coach, because I had a chance to see him right after the game, literally as we're celebrating. Mike and I are in an embrace, and I look over at Brent, and he's just looking at me and Mike, and I just went up to him and just told him, "Hey, man, you are an unbelievable football player." And for him to come back off the injury and probably not even be at full strength, to be quite honest, that guy's he's a ball player. Those are the when healthy, those are the 2 best quarterbacks in this league, hands down. And especially for both guys that have gone through their adversity this year, a lot of injuries around them, losing key players from either last year or on this roster. Both those guys were. I mean, that was an exciting game to watch. That was really, really good quarterback play in that game.
Back in April, you all did the spring game draft. Brian Ness is the very last player taken. Just how much does it mean to see him and you guys to do that tonight?
It is Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant back in the spring game draft, and honestly, I had to call him that night and make sure everything was okay. I was worried. That's not a great feeling to be picked last in gym class, and big pick last in the draft. I mean, no matter what it is, and I told him, I said, your moment's going to come, and sure enough, he competed. Was in a really stiff kicking competition. Really, with his performance in all of camp, he unseated an incumbent starter. He did with his performance, and as a coach, you got to trust your eyes, and trusted our eyes in that instance. He had some tough times. Practice has honestly been kind of tough at times, putting the ball through the uprights. And the one thing that Ryan and I talked about is that we picked you for a reason to be our starting kicker. We picked you because we believe in you and because you've proven it. Just go out there and do your best, and that's what he did tonight, and did it into a pretty stiff wind too. What is that? Probably 30-mile-an-hour gusts toward the end of the game. That was an impressive kick.
After Middle scored those touchdowns there at the beginning of the fourth, there was a collective sigh of here we go again. But I mean, obviously, how did you guys find motivation to really make this game different from the last couple of weeks?
I think we had to pull the team together. Did that a couple times tonight. I wanted to keep our team together through the ups and downs of the game, and really allow some of the seniors to address their peers. Derek Overstreet actually gave a pregame speech tonight. Did a great job. Probably said some words that are, probably kept in the locker room, and did a great job with it. But wanted those seniors to be able to tell the team how much this meant to them, and I think that fight was there as a result of those seniors leading us.
First year coaching staff are coming off 3 straight losses. Like this. What can this kind of mean for the program?
Well, it means a lot for us in recruiting. That's a big thing. I mean, recruiting is everything going forward. There's a lot of business left to be taken care of before we get into the road recruiting. But Middle Tennessee is, without a question, is a major recruiting rival of ours, both regionally and just the prominence of their program and what Coach Stockstill's done, for so long there at Middle. So it's big for us, from a recruiting standpoint to get this victory. But more importantly for our program, it's just another one of those kind of games where you go into deep waters, dark waters, and where it's there's a lot of unknowns, there's a lot of opportunities to fight, and to come out victorious, obviously that's really big for this entire program. To do that as a family, but most importantly for these seniors, and to thank them for all that they've done.
How do you feel
I thought our offensive line played their best game tonight, just from what I saw. I thought they gave Mike time to get rid of the football, and there were a couple sacks that we took. But as much as we have to throw the football, I mean, it's going to happen inevitably. When you watch Washington State early on in the Mike Leach era, the quarterback's getting teed off on. You throw it as much as you do, and they've been obviously very good. But I thought our offensive line played very well and actually ran the ball a little bit better. I know it wasn't perfect, but we certainly created some holes to be able to offset the pass rush a little bit. But they're a blitzing outfit, and Scott Schaefer's one of the best defensive coaches in college football. I've seen that firsthand. I saw him basically just put together a masterpiece of a performance in the 2007 USC versus Sanford game, where we were 41.5-point underdogs at the Coliseum and ended up beating them. And that was Scott Schaefer's defense in that game played as good of a defensive performance as I've ever seen.
I know a couple weeks ago he wasn't even getting a lot of playing time, but after that big score, did you say anything to Lucky? And it's kind of a play that seems like you've been waiting to happen all season.
It was, and really the Vanderbilt game was a turning point for him. That Vanderbilt game was really special performance by him, and last week it just didn't click as much. Lucky came back and had another just unbelievable week of practice and focus, and I tell Lucky all the time, Lucky, when you're fully engaged in the process and you buy into the process and the practice and the preparation and everything that you go about your business in a professional manner, you're as good as a receiver as there is out there, and that's my challenge to him. And I'll say it publicly. Lucky can be an unbelievable receiver for this program for next year, for the next 2 games in this season, and I want him to continue with that mindset because he is special.
You guys went for it 3 times on 4th down, including the fake punt. Coming into this game, were you guys kind of like, we're just going to risk everything, put it all on the line?
I mean, it's just kind of what we've been doing the whole year. I mean, I wish we'd been better at 4th down at times, but what did we end up on 4th down?
1 for 3.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, but yeah, we were going to attack. I mean, I wanted to be, even right after, one of the, I think it was the swing of points. I'm not 100%. The 92-yard touchdown pass. I can't remember the exact sequence. There's a lot of things going on, but Coach Adams and I were on the phone, and I just said, hey, we're coming out to play. We're coming out to win this game. We're going to throw the ball. We have to throw the ball over their heads. So we max protected and had a chance to throw the ball up in the air. And of course, Mike White made an unbelievable throw.